Hello and welcome to my video. Today is going to be day 14 of the 100-day challenge. I was inspired by a Rach and Bella YouTube video I saw, and I believe that they linked some of they were inspired by for this. So it is not my original idea. I will link their channel in the description. So basically this is a 3-pocket paper book holder. Could be 4 if you wanted to, when you attach it to the page, have one that would go on the top, or glue those 3 sides and have something to be able to go into the side, which I think might be a little bit better because too many going up and down. It'd be really cute to have one going in the side. So I just tucked a few things in here just to show that they were pockets. Get those out of the way. This is, I mean, it's pretty strong for it to be done. So, like I said, just regular book pages, and then I have regular strips of scrapbook paper here. I am making these for my Spring Floral Journal. If you haven't seen it yet, I have a link in the description too. What I'm making is 7 different colors of something to go in the book. I've already created some library cards. I have them here. That video should be up by now too, where I have, out of order, where I have all the library cards that will go in each section of the journal, and I have to glue those in at some point because I have them, all the colors of the rainbow there. So I'm going to do the same with this book page, the pink, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. So one thing I haven't done on this one is I'm going to go to the sewing machine and sew it down the 2 sides just to make it extra sturdy. It's pretty sturdy with the wet glue on there, but just to give it that little extra bit of strength for the pockets. I did nip out a little tab on that one too. Not necessary for any of these pages. If you wanted to put one on the side, if you end up doing a tuck, you could do that later too. I would probably do that before it got sewn, so you made sure you missed it. If you decide to sew, you definitely do not have to sew on this. This is definitely a pretty strong thing. So let me show you how we get to these 4 pages. Put this aside. So I'm going to get my cutter here, and I'm going to cut one of the book pages down. Well, I also want to say, since I use the scrap paper here, I'm going to show you I have these multicolored, they were cut off 12 by 12 paper packs. They're an inch wide that I cut to make 8.5 by 11 paper that I use throughout my journal. So this is the scrapbook paper that I used for these that I picked. But I also thought if you wanted to use, you know, washi tape, that could be something you could do on there also if you didn't want to use some paper. But I think this adds definitely some strength to it. So, all right, so this is the size that I chose. You could probably do really any size that you wanted to. On the Rach and Bella video, I don't believe she set a size. She just had a book she used. But my size is going to end up being 7 tall and 4 wide. So I had a bigger page here. So I'm going to just cut off the edges just to leave the words on here on the one side. And what's nice about this is look at all the strips I have to be able to stamp on or whatever I use. I got these for the side ones. So I'm going to go to 4 inches on this. And then I'm going to go to 7 on this. And I've been cutting the bottom off because now I have a whole stack of these that have a lot of open space on there too. So lots of scraps on there. So 4 by 7. Let me get this out of the way. All right. So for the top page, or whatever you want to call it, the back page, it is just a 4 by 7 piece of paper. So I have that already. So the second one here, I chose to fold it down 1 3/4 inches. Now again, this is just random what I decided to do. It just seemed to flow good for me for height-wise. And then you can also, I think I shifted this up when I glued it in, but I thought that was a good division to leave a little bit of room. So 1 3/4 inches, because you got the strip there and a little room. The next page, really simple, was just folded in half. So that one was easy to do. That is going to be the 3rd page. Now the 4th page was a little bit more, not random, but more just eyeballing it. It's going to go into thirds. So basically I tried to fold the top down about what I thought was a third, not creasing it too much, and then trying to fold it up and see. Now that's a little too short, so I'm going to go up a little bit, just a scotch, and see. That's okay. So that's about a third, and bone folded it into place. All right, so for this bottom one, I am going to glue it shut, and I was mostly concerned about the edges because it folds into itself than I was any other spot. So fold that and fold that. All right, there is that. So for the other ones, if you want to throw a little bit of glue on there, just so it doesn't skip open on the sides, again, doesn't need too much because it is going to be sewed down for that one. And then for this one, to just glue that top flap down for that. Okay, so easy peasy 4 pieces. So the next thing we do, and I've folded all my other ones here so I can eventually get to it. So the next thing we do is I cut my strips of 1-inch washi tape out of colors. I chose two different colors, or 2 different papers for each one, so I can go opposite. This first one had dots on it, and this second and fourth one had little hearts and speckles. Just thought it gave it a little extra fun to it. Plus, since they are 12 inches long and I needed 4 inches wide, I could really only get 3 out of 1 washi, so I cut it out of 2. So, all right, we'll get the other colors out of the way here. So, I mean, just, I don't know if it could be any easier. You basically just take, whoa, out of the way. Just take one of the washies. I think I'll do that one up top, and attach it to the top one. All right. Get, oh, those are the extras. There we go. A second page, we're going to take the opposite one, which is that one, and we will glue that. It seems like I cut that one a little short, so I'm going to have to go back and, after it's dry, trim it a little bit. Just give it a little bit of a, and it could have been just my cutter blade chipped a little. It doesn't take much to get off of that. So there's that one. And then the third one, we're going to go back to this one. And we want to pay attention that the words are not upside down. I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could, but it'd be easy enough to put it here and have the words upside down. Not that I speak from experience or anything on that, but yeah. All right. Okay, we're going to go with that side. And glue that. Okay. All right, so there's the 4. Now, what I did on this one is when I got to it, if I wanted to adjust the spacing a little, I adjusted it when I glued them in. because it doesn't necessarily have to go to the bottom and all be at the bottom here. So, all right, we're gonna start with this one, and I'm just gonna eyeball where I want it to be. It looks like I'm gonna have just one line of words there. And for this, the pages, I am gonna use the wet glue for this. And I'm only gonna do the two sides and the bottom. And it doesn't, since I'm planning on sewing this later, it doesn't have to be an exorbitant amount of glue on the sides because it will be stitched, but I would make sure that the bottom had enough, just because you don't want your, whatever you decide to put in the pocket to slide down farther than it needs to be. So, all right, so one line of words. Okay, so there's that. All right, so this one is gonna go right below Mr. Fogg. Make sure I got the top. Don't want to glue that down. Enough on the bottom to stay. And a little bit up the side, just to hold until I sew. All right, oops, Mr. Fogg. There's Mr. Fogg. Okay, and then the last one. Sides and bottom. I'm gonna have to refill my glue. It's getting a little low. Okay. Okay. Okay, so if it seems a little off, you can always go through and cut it with scissors, or you could take the handy dandy cutter and slice it a little bit, just to clean it up a little. If you're so inclined, if you don't mind a little bit being off, then there you go. Okay, so I got the edges cleaned. Now I'm going to distress the sides just a little bit before I sew, because since there are white edges with the paper in the back. All right, get that up there. Now, like I said, if I wanted to do the divot in there, we'd do that before it gets glued to the page. But I've decided that I'm not going to do the divot on those. I think there's enough room in between to know what's going on. So I'm going to speed up the video for the rest of the colors, since you've seen how I've done them. You don't need to watch each one separately. And then when I'm done gluing the other colors, I'll be back. Alright, so I was able to get them all glued together, and I did go and trim every single one of them. Just sliced ever so slightly a little bit off of each one, just to straighten it up a little bit. I think what happened when I was cutting, stacks of pages, they were shifting a little bit, so they were making them just a little off of that 4-inch size that I was hoping for. So, lesson learned: if you cut them one at a time, you're probably gonna get a better measurement than when you cut, 10 at a time. So, all right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is get my sewing machine and sew up these sides, and once I do that, they will be done. So I'll be back when I can get that all set up. All right, I am back, ready to sew these. Got my sewing machine set up. I am not going to do zigzag. I'm going to do straight stitches. I'm going to do down, across the bottom, and back up again. And I might come back down and do it again, depending on how it looks, to do 2 rows of stitching. I'm going to do the first one slowly, and then after that I'll speed up the video and finish the rest. All right, so, oh, I should lengthen my stitch here. Okay, all right, move my needle. Okay, let's give it a shot. Go this way. And back up the top. Back stitch a couple just to lock it in. And let's see what it looks like and see if I want to do a second stitch or not. Okay. I mean, besides the fact that I didn't do it too straight, I think one will be enough. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to put this into high speed and do the rest of them. I'll be right back with those. Okay, I am back. So it appears I did not hit record when I was sewing the rest of these, but that's okay. It would have been probably a whole 10 seconds worth of me sewing, so not a huge loss. Unfortunately, I can't go back and sew. So here they are. I definitely got a little bit better at sewing them as I was going along. So these are a little bit straighter than the original pink one was. So yeah, so I think they're going to be great to be able to, I mean, they're pretty. They seem really sturdy to be able to stick tags and such in there and things like that. So yeah, I think this is a definite winner. So I will be getting them at some point into the journal that I have finished. Figure out after I get all my ones that I want to do and be able to put, you know, put the card somewhere in there and be able to tuck some stuff in there, or, you know, put it on a page that's just a little more blank color-wise. So yeah, so I think this is a definite winner in my book. I love them. So all right, well, thanks for hanging out with me today, and if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'll be making a lot more items to fill my spring floral book, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel and keep an eye out for these in the near future. So this is the end of the day 1400 day challenge, and thanks so much, and I hope you have a very creative day.